Welcome to the NewTake Media Podcast, a place where we delve into the secret sauce of creators' success. Today we have a comic creator named Aleandro from Infinity Comics. You can check out his channel below in the description, and we'll talk more about him here. Enjoy the show. How's it going, man?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. So usually we like to start with your life story, where you grew up, your family, how you got into comics, that sort of thing.
Right. Well, I'm from Sicily, and which is in Italy, obviously, and I live in the United Kingdom. I've been living here for 8 years now, and I study comic books at university, and I have a job, and I live with my boyfriend, and that's pretty much it. I grew up in Sicily, in Sicily being a little bit not great for work. There isn't a lot of jobs with it. Unless you already have a job, it's hard to find a job, which is, a paradox.
So, so how long were you in Sicily exactly? Like from what age?
18 years. I left when I
Oh,
was
wow.
18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I left 4 days after I turned 18, to be specific.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, it was
How,
crazy.
how was that jump? Did you guys already learn English there as like a second language, or was it?
Nah, they teach us English, but it's not nothing that you can use to, to the extent of living in an English speaking country. Like they have this thing that they teach you to say, the pen is on the table.
Mhm.
The pen is on the table. I don't know why. I don't know why the hell that is in like English books anyway. And I've never had to use that word. The pen is on the table. Um, but no, I learned it from scratch basically, and I had a lot of difficulties when I came here. I had a lot of trouble finding a job and keeping a job for a long time, in fact. And that, for better or worse, I ended up working in a lot of places where people didn't speak, like, their natural language wasn't English. It may be Indian or Polish or I don't know, some other language. And so I was able to capture the different pronunciations of the same language, right? Which is English. It's pronounced by people with a different phonetic alphabet, let's say. And it gave me, I think, a spectrum of how to pronounce words the right way, because it's almost like, imagine you're in the dark, right? There's an object in the dark, and a ball, let's say, and you cast a light on one side of it. All of a sudden, you see one side of the object. Then you cast the light on the other side, and now you see two sides, and then another, and then another, and then you gradually also see the shadows. So I think that learning different, like, ways of speaking English, that's what it did for me. It provided me with a full figure, let's say.
Yeah, and I bet that was difficult because I hear when you're younger and you grow up with something, it's a lot easier to learn a language.
Yeah.
And I heard that it's even stored in a different part of your brain at a younger age. So since you left at 18 and you had to learn at that late of an age, that must have been wicked difficult.
Yeah, I think I think, to be honest with you, 18 still categorizes as pretty young in
Mhm.
terms of learning a language. But I know that some people struggle when they're older or when they're younger. I think it depends on whether you have, like a thing for languages, you know?
Mhm.
And now I don't know if I would feel the same way about German, or I don't know, Japanese or something,
Yeah.
but I think English is pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to learn other languages like Spanish or something. I
Yeah.
have a hard time, so I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, and a lot of people say English is not easy. For me, it's easy, right? But,
Mhm.
like, the thing is, there are certain languages that I think you would probably have more of, you'd be more prone to learn, like French, for example. I think French, it has got many, many, many similarities with English, especially the British English. because of there's a phonetic pronunciation there of the that can be shared in English culture as well, less so in America. But yeah.
Okay. So you just got out, you're learning the languages, you're trying to get jobs. Where do comics come in at that point?
So I was always into comics since I was like, I'd say 8, and I started reading, and I have them back in Italy, and eventually I'm gonna have my parents send them over here because I want to have them here. I started reading a mixture of manga and Italian comics. There was no, like, I wasn't reading Spider-Man. I think I must have read maybe 2 Spider-Man, maybe 2 Batman, 1 Superman, something like that. And yeah, basically I was reading Mickey Mouse. There was this comic called Diabolic, which is an Italian comic book, like a golden age comic, very, very classy, unlike pretty much unlike what comics are nowadays, full
Hmm.
of swears and just, um they've lost elegance. Comic
Hmm.
books,
Hmm.
stories in general, they've lost elegance, and a comic like that is full of it, full of that elegance that I'm talking about. um and so I went back and forth reading comic books and playing video games and trying to, I want to say, fit in, but actually no, because I got into Lady Gaga at that point in my life, which I no longer am, and I was extremely, like, controversial, I would say. I used to wear makeup a lot, and it wasn't just her influence; it was Marilyn Manson as well, and the
Hmm.
My Chemical Romance, stuff like that. I was a little punk,
Oh yeah, I
and
see. I see.
yeah. And so that didn't go down too well in Sicily 10 years ago. It wouldn't go down too well now, let alone 10 years ago. And so um I went back and forth with comics, and then when I came over to the United Kingdom, I reconnected with them, I think around 2015. It took me a couple of years before I had time to think about anything other than my survival.
Right.
And yeah, and I started collecting comics again. I didn't read much of Marvel or DC. Nowadays, I don't read any of that at all. Yeah, I'm more, for indie comics. But yeah, that's my connection there.
Yeah, speaking of indie comics, I like how you did that review of Starblades. If you
Mm-hmm.
guys want, go check it out on his Infinity Comics channel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but no, it was really well concise. A lot of people when they do reviews, they like shit on the creator and they shit on the work unnecessarily,
Yeah.
and they're not, professional or actually like critical about things, like you actually
Yeah.
gave a way to fix it, which a lot of people don't do, you know?
Well, I was lucky enough to put a poll out, and the people told me to do that. Otherwise, I would not have thought of doing that.
Yeah.
Because to me, and I say that in the video, to me, it's a no brainer that if I'm telling you the negative points, right, those are the things you need to fix.
Hmm.
But I thought, whatever, I'm just gonna spoon feed you, because evidently, and I don't mean no disrespect to the creator of Starblades, but um, some of those mistakes were unacceptable.
Hmm.
And so maybe you do need to be spoon fed a little information. I think everybody does need to be spoon fed some information here and there, because when we're constantly exposed to our work, we become blind to its flaws, and we just want to see the beautiful and pretty things about you. It's our child. We don't want to see the errors. And my boyfriend, he basically acted as an editor on my comic book, and it was tough. It's tough to hear somebody, and he's very blunt and honest, which is exactly what you need. But it's tough to hear a stranger, let alone the person you love, that this doesn't work and that doesn't work and that sounds stupid, or that whatever it may be the case. So yeah, it's just a matter of being honest when you give a review, and also being kind. Honesty and kindness can coexist. They don't have to be strangers.
No, I agree 100% because, yeah, like you said, I like how you addressed that point where you can be blind to your own work because it is your baby, it is your creation, and that's why you need an extra pair of eyes to look at it once in a
That's
while,
right.
And I feel the same way with my body of works.
Mhm.
I have my friends look at it and all that. I would like to hire, an editor, but those are quite a bit of money, So um yeah, but I see what you mean. And I think you did a good job because when people are blind to them, that means they either know it, but they don't know it's in their book, or they just don't know it at all.
Yeah.
So when you actually analyze how to fix it, that'll help them improve next time.
But I don't even think you need an editor, to be honest with you, like a professional. What is an editor anyway?
That's a
It's like
good point.
somebody telling you, oh, you made a typo here, or this doesn't make sense. Uh, those are things that pretty much everybody has the ability of catching. Um, you know, Perhaps not one person, but if you have, a bunch of your friends read it, say two or three, there's a good chance that three people are going to catch some of the same things, and those are the things you want to focus on, right?
Mhm.
And so or if you're lucky and you have someone you care about who is, again, pretty blunt and honest, then maybe perhaps that person can catch all the errors right away.
Yeah, I feel like an editor might be there because they have more experience with writing usually. So they might
Yeah,
know more about story than your
yeah,
friends might. So they
yeah,
might be able to identify the problem easier, maybe. Depends.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's true.
So what was your first ever body of work? Like, even if it's like something you never published, like the first thing you ever worked on.
Yeah. The first thing I wrote is called The Dark Bay, and it's a really dark comic, really dark. It's a psychological thriller. I never talked about this actually. um and I shelved it. I mean, it's on my laptop, but I shelved it because it's really shitting all over um the community that I'm trying to work with, because the community within which I network, which is Comicsgate, has a lot of conservative people, a lot of um, Catholic people, a lot of this kind of audience. And the comic is about this gay guy who has a slew of mental disorders, split personality disorder, and a whole bunch of other things that I didn't even know. I had to research these things. And he basically he has this doctor who is transsexual,
Hmm.
and I wrote the story with no idea of like mainstream or politics or anything like this. So when I wrote it, there was no intention from me to virtue signal anybody or something like that. These were just very natural decisions. And like, I remember I watched fuck me, uh, there's an old actress. um she is in the movie, The Girl with All the Gifts. Do you know this movie?
I haven't seen it now.
It's a great movie about like zombies, but like a good one, not a stupid one, like a good
Mm,
one. It's
okay.
based on a book. Glenn Close. So there's the Glenn Close in this movie, and the way she looks in the movie, it inspired me to create this character, because she's a little masculine in the face. She's an older woman, but she has a bit of a square jaw. So she just made me think that, oh well, what if she was like a transsexual character, right?
Mhm.
What kind of repercussions would that have on, because she's a psychiatrist as well. In the story, she is my character's personal doctor, let's say. And a bad series of events leads my character. His name is Owen Keel, or Keels, I forget, to commit a murder. And then he falls in love with a guy, and then they commit a murder together, and then they commit cannibalism, and like
Oh,
there's a whole bunch of disgusting and very, very strong things happening in the story, and it's a very dark story. It's got what is called as can be called as a down ending, which is an ending that ends badly for the people involved. And I wrote it at a time in my life when I had a lot of anger inside and a lot of things that I needed to be sorted. Whereas now I'm mostly a happy person, and I try to be kind of like a winner in my life, and that reflects in this kind of stories I write. So they're very positive stories, and sure, there is some darkness here and there, of course, but mostly they're positive, and so that's my first body of work, The Dark at Bay.
that's awesome, man. I mean, I have you ever thought of remaking it maybe and changing some things around?
I might do that someday. I think if the concept creation turns into anything good, it that might take me a few years to complete, and so I have other ideas that I'm very proud of that I would like to put out before The Dark at Bay. So we'll see.
Yeah. What is your goal? Like, where do you want to get? Where's your ideal place to be if everything goes perfectly?
I just want to make money, like live off of writing comic books.
Right.
I don't want to get rich over it. I just want to make a living and perhaps be able to save some money when a campaign is said and done. And that's what I want.
I don't blame you for that, man. I feel the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, guys. Help us out here.
That's
Anyway.
right.
But what do you think the most difficult part about creating a comic is?
Hmm. Most difficult part. Well, if you're starting from zero, um, the research, right? And that it goes with anything. Like I just started boxing, and how long have you been fighting?
Since I was about 16 and I'm 21 now.
Right. So how long is that? 6, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So that's 5 years. So you've got 5 years of experience over me,
Yeah.
right? So if I could just touch your head and absorb that information,
Mhm. There
that's
you
it.
go.
Work
Easy.
done. Kind of like Neo from the Matrix or whatever.
Yes.
The things that
Yes.
they used to do. So that's definitely a really difficult thing to do, to gather all the information. But in the long run, I'm realizing, and I'm doing way better now. But like a year ago, half a year ago, I was struggling with this a little bit. The time to spend with your loved ones as you work on your passion, to make career and and romance work at the same time. Like I've spoken with a bunch of creators, and it seems like uh, their relationships broke over crowdfunding comics. And, God forbid that would ever happen to me. I mean, I love comics, but when you find love, there's a song that says, when you know love, you can't afford to lose it, you know? And so it's it's difficult because you want to do the thing that you want to do, that is your dream, but you also want for your relationships, and it doesn't have to be just relationships. It could be your family, it could be, I don't know, spending time with your friends, whatever it may be. It's hard to make them coincide, but it is essential that you do, because who said that you can't have both? Who said that you can only have career or love, family, whatever it may be? You can have both. So that's the most difficult thing, I think, for me.
So it's more of a scheduling thing.
Yeah, it's more of a scheduling thing. Now, the way I do it is, I have my show on YouTube every Monday and Tuesday, and before it was different days. So whenever it tickles my fancy, and by that I mean whenever I find it necessary, I change the dates, or I can change the time, for example, or I can even cancel. Who gives a shit? I'm not, I don't have an employer, at least on YouTube and crowdfunding comic books. So that's how we do it, and I think it's pretty important that you endeavor to do everything you can to spend time with your loved ones.
Yeah, I've seen that you've been growing your YouTube channel. It has how many subscribers now?
It's got like 249 subscribers.
Yeah, it's not bad so far, man. What are you
Yeah, thanks.
doing to grow it?
What am I doing?
Yep.
Um, I am having many different guests, and so these guests they bring their own fans to the show. And I'm using Twitter, which is I used to use Instagram for like 2 years, and when I launched the comic, I basically saw no sales from Instagram, and I realized what a waste of time it was for me. And it's all vanity. If you're not making sales off of it, it's just vanity, right? And so Twitter is really good for networking with my audience. And if I have a certain guest, let's say I have Damien on the show, right? And Damien does a lot of, like, you're in my community, you do live streams, you have your regular watchers, right? And so I will go on your channel, and I will check out the people who watched you live, who were there from beginning to end. Let's say there is 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and then I'll hopefully, I already follow them on Twitter. I will tag them 10 minutes before the show, and they will know to come and watch the show. And now they're new to my channel, they can subscribe to my channel. And so that's one of the ways. And of course, having different kind of guests on the show and being honest. I'm realizing people really like the fact that I'm a very honest person. And so yeah, I think honesty is very important.
So be honest with me. Do you think Comicsgate is a hate group?
No, no. And if you guys watch this and you think that's the case, or you like, what the fuck is comics hate? Is it something you eat? It's a movement in comics that the mainstream comic books have labeled in certain ways, and it's a lie. uh, this, like I said, I'm a homosexual, and I've never faced any kind of discrimination from that movement. And like I said, it's full of conservative individuals in there. Um, Comicsgate was born out of it's a what's the word I'm looking for? A reactionary movement. It's a reaction to the mainstream comics and the media, and now even the government, to constantly push diversity, push it, not let it happen naturally, to push it. And it's very poisonous. You can't watch anything anymore on television without being told you're just a straight white male,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and you're lesser because of that.
Yeah.
If that's not discrimination, I don't know what is. And I will not stand by that side. I don't know how anyone can think they're in the right if they stand by that side. I was bullied in school. I know bullies, when I see them, they will take your voice away. They will try everything they can to silence you. And conservatives, whether you like this or not, are being silenced right now. And I'm speaking for myself as well. And Comicsgate, that's one way you silence people. You label them as a hate group. You say they're a bunch of racists, they're a bunch of sexists, they're a bunch of, because you know what that does? Even with somebody like me, someone who's gay, it doesn't exempt me from being racist or sexist. So there is a word for everything, and so nobody is safe. The only person exempt from that would be a black lesbian, let's say. All right. So, you're taking all the boxes there. But then again, they will say that you are internalizing your homophobia. There's just no winning. And so that's what Comicsgate is. It's a community of people who enjoy older comics or new comics that just don't have that kind of bullshit in them. in them. They just focus on good storytelling, great characters. That's all that people want. They want to be entertained, right? Remember when entertainment was entertaining and it wasn't like a documentary or a fucking lecture or something? I remember those days. It's and we need to go back to that. And indie comics is where it's at right now with all that stuff. So yeah, if you guys were wondering whether Comics Gate is a hate group or not, or if you want to understand more about it, there is a video on my channel, a live show that I did on Monday, so 2 days ago, and it's 2 hours long, but it's very entertaining. And I go through an essay that I wrote for university where I go through the details of why it is not a hate group. I provide plenty of evidence to prove that mainstream comics are doing everything wrong, and just a lot of interesting data. So I invite you all to check it out.
Check that shit out, people. I don't want you commenting down below. Oh my God, he's a racist. Oh, yada yada, whatever.
Well, I'm from Italy, so I've actually experienced racism myself in this country, and it's maybe happened 2 times in 8 years. So big deal,
Yeah. All
you
right,
know.
guys. Yeah. Chill out. So, for your comic book, specifically Columns of Creation,
Yeah.
what was the creative process behind that? How did you, like, starting from the conceptualization, how did you start and find the idea, and how did you get your artist and all of that?
So the idea came because there um I was canceled, that you could say. I experienced some of that, and I was suspended by my university. And during those months, I was going through a very tough time, really tough time, because like I said, I'm an immigrant, and everything I have here is I I earned it, and I don't have like my family to fall back on here. Sure, I have it in Italy. I am lucky to have a family, and they support me. And worse came to worse, and no one else in the world would help me out, I can always go back to my family. But I'm not gonna do that. I want to stand on my own 2 feet, and so I was in the despair, basically. And while I was at work, I used to work in like a call center. So my hands were free, and I was drawing, and I just started drawing these like characters, these like characters that were humanoid but were elemental, right? And so you had a guy with like a head of flame, and he had like these weird like tears under his eyes, and then you got this like all kinds of characters like that. And their designs changed a lot. You can see them on columnsofcreation.com. Actually, you can see those drawings, but that's where the designs were born for them. And the idea just came out of a need to tell the story of um, what if these characters felt as lost as I feel right now, and what if, in order to fix that, they came to Earth, because I had lost my faith in humanity, right? And they are not from Earth. And so Columns of Creation is really a redemption story about mankind, which is what all stories really should be. I believe, and that's why the Dark at Bay is not a great idea, because I believe that we need more positivity, and we need to remember that, sure, we've made a lot of mistakes, but mostly we are good. There is good in us, and we do good, and we have accomplished wonders in our few years on this planet. And so, I mean, just look at the pyramids, for God's sake. We still don't know how the hell they built them, you know. Uh, and so that's where it came from a need um, to believe in humanity, and so that one can believe in oneself, because there is humanity in all of us, even in the columns of creation. um and I feel like I'm addressing only half of your question.
I mean, oh yeah. So so what was the creative process behind it was what I was going to ask after. So
Right.
from start to almost finish, like what did you do in that time?
All right. So basically, at first, I drew the comic. I drew the first 60 pages, and my teachers, they got me in touch with a guy who works for Marvel, and the guy told me, you're a good writer, but your art is not quite there. And I already knew that. So I was like, say no more. And I started searching for an artist. There's a really good group on Facebook called Connecting Comic Book Writers and Artists, or something similar. It's got like tens of thousands of like followers or whatever. And it's a really good tool if you're looking for a team member, if you want to commission somebody to draw your art, or if you are an artist or a colorist or a letterer and you're looking to work for somebody. It's also a great tool for that purpose. So that's what I did, and I find every single member of my team at the time. One of them has changed now. To I found them on there, and I was very pleased with the quality of them.
I love the character designs you have in that. I love the art. It looks amazing. The colors are
Thank you.
super vibrant. Does he do
Yeah.
both the coloring and the artwork and
No.
stuff?
So
Oh,
the colorist, the artist's name is Matt Monaco, and the colorist's name is Carlos Moreno. And yeah, he's great. I really love Carlos's colors. It was a choice to make them look the way they do. He showed me some of his portfolio, and I said, I want it to look like that. And he said, okay. And so, yeah, I'm very pleased with them.
what is your opinion on the art is more important than story argument when it comes to comics?
So comics are a visual medium. This is true. So art holds a very powerful meaning. However, I wouldn't say that it's more important than writing, because you got to remember this, guys. A comic book, what is a comic in the end? It's a story, right? Just like a movie is a story, a song is a story, a poetry is a story, and what else is there? Stuff like that. A book. And so, as a story, it needs to be written. Now, written doesn't necessarily mean that I type words on a keyboard or I write with a pen on a piece of paper. You can write with your, I suppose you're still gonna, use some kind of tool, but you can be an artist and write with your pen as you draw. You can write with your mind, right? You don't need to create a script. You can visualize the images you want and draw them, and that is already a form of writing.
Yeah,
But you
visual storytelling,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still need that skill to visualize the images in your mind with the correct pacing and so on and so, and also translate them from your mind to the paper. And so I definitely think that writing and art are, actually, personally, I think writing trumps art, even in comic books. But I understand if most people would disagree with that. It's just that personally, like Sandman is my biggest, my favorite comic of all time, and it started pretty ugly, but the writing was so amazing that I didn't care that the art was, so and so. Sure, not everybody's Neil Gaiman, not everybody's Alan Moore or Stephen King or whatever, but you should strive to be that. You shouldn't just accept that you're a mediocre writer, and so you're just going to write a story that is really just plot driven, full of action. There's no meaning to it. It's the characters, they're not really, there's no depth to them. We don't even fucking know what their names are, or we don't focus on them in the least. I don't think anybody wants to read a story like that, because maybe you could do that in a movie, but a movie is way more immersive. There's music, there's action, it's a very passive form of entertainment. A comic book is a very active form of entertainment. You need to fill in the blanks. You need to be there. You need to be very present. And so when somebody is providing you nothing to be immersed in the story, they're not telling, they're not giving you enough information about the characters to give two shits about what happens to them. Someone died. Oh, well, that's unfortunate, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's my opinion.
I would argue that even in film, you need a story. Even silent films back in the day,
Hmm.
amazing visual storytelling before they ever
Hmm.
even had sound. You
Yeah.
always need a story. Storytelling is the core of how this all started. Think about
Hmm.
it. You know,
Yeah.
books, even in caveman times, they told each other stories to keep each
Yeah.
other entertained. You know,
Hmm.
story is humanity.
Hmm.
And I love how you actually appreciate that because some people, I love artwork. Listen, great artwork does help a comic. And just like great cinematography helps a
Hmm.
movie. If a
Yeah.
movie has shit cinematography, you know, it's kind of like, oh man, but if they have even if they have shit cinematography, and they have a
Hmm.
really good story, you'll be like,
Hmm.
okay, but that story was amazing and people overlook
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
The only thing I would say you could overlook it in is maybe gaming, kind of, because
Hmm.
it started as just like a visual, you know, like Pong, like just a
Yeah.
fun little thing. And games are
Yeah.
more interactive, so you can just turn your brain off and just have fun. But
Yeah. I
game,
agree with that.
yeah, but games with a great story, though, are remembered forever.
Yeah. And
God
in
of War.
fact, yeah, that's right. And in fact, my favorite games are The Last of Us, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima. I'm playing it right now to pump myself up for the director's cut, which is coming out on August 20th. Everybody buy it. And so,
I haven't even played that. Should I wait for the director's cut and then get it?
no, I would say get it now. Otherwise, it's not that you'll be overwhelmed,
Mhm.
but by the time it comes out, you'll be nice and trained to move and everything, and you can just jump onto that new stories they're trying to tell. I would say play that game as soon as possible. It's a wonderful game. It's very relaxing. Sure, it's happening during the invasion of the Mongols, and so there's a lot of killing going on, but it's a time where there was no televisions, and there's very little music in the game. You can really hear the wind going through the trees or the grass, and there's a lot of natural habitat that you can roam through. There's like three parts through of the island of Tsushima that unlock throughout the game, and they all look very different. A lot of beautiful ponds, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful game. And so, yeah, I recommend it.
I love when games have variety in their maps. Like they're
Yeah,
not all just the same map because then eventually, I mean, even if it looks really good, it could get kind of dull after a while.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw that you were watching a ton of like movies lately, like
Mhm.
Predator,
Yeah,
Terminator for like the first time ever.
that's right.
What's your favorite movie
Out of those ones
of all time?
of
Actually,
all time,
it might be difficult to answer that. Go genre by genre.
sure. I know my favorite movie of all time. So I'll tell you that, and then I'll go genre by genre. How about that?
Okay.
And my favorite movie of all time is Kill Bill, and that
Mm,
includes both. For me, that's one movie, all right? And it's been so since I watched it, and I was like 16. So it's held up for a long time, and I don't see it being taken over by any movie anytime soon because it's just a great movie. It's got it all for me. I suppose that kind of covers action a little bit as well,
definitely.
but mm, well, there's a bunch of movies I like in terms of action though. Like Aliens was really great. Terminator 2 was really great. I was laughing out loud at several parts throughout Terminator 2. Not so much because of the jokes, just the action, it's so refreshing sometimes to have so much, toxic masculinity in a movie. Give me more of that. And what else? I watched a lot of horror movies growing up, but I wouldn't say I have a favorite horror movie. Maybe Hereditary is a really good one. Did you watch that one?
I did. Yeah, I like that one. I like that
Yeah,
one a lot.
fucking Chris the shit out of me, man.
Have you ever watched well, You probably could say it better than I can. It's like Italian horror movies, the giallo movies. Have you ever seen
Right.
those?
Giallo just means yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, those are like mystery, slasher types of movies.
No, those are older movies. I kind of struggle watching black and white stuff, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Maybe one day.
If you
Maybe one
watch
day.
the newer ones, actually, a lot of them are color, and they actually have a lot of color, like more
Hmm.
80s giallo
Hmm.
movies
Yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
very colorful and super artistic, so they look really cool rather
Right.
than how like a lot of horror movies are really bleak and are like
Yeah,
gray and dark. These are
yeah,
more like reds, greens, all of that. Like
right.
it's really
Yeah, yeah.
visual. Yeah.
That's kind of lost now, isn't it?
It is. It is. I'm trying to bring it back, but it is. It really is lost though. Like the modern look is like gray, black.
Yeah, yeah. Just dead, as dead as the people in the movie. Man, my wrist is killing me. Uh
Oh, man, why would you? Oh yeah, you're punching people. Me too. Me too.
yeah, yeah. It's the wrist is killing me. My shoulder. I didn't go to the gym today. I decided to rest, and I think tomorrow I'm not going to lift any weights or do any punching. Instead, I'm going to do maybe like a lot of stretching. I'm going to do tomorrow because I feel like it needs to rest. If I keep on, I was thinking of just doing, going through it anyway, but that might do more damage. You
Nope,
know?
that's exactly what it'll do. Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I mean, your coach told you that it's obviously you are, punching with the wrong form.
yeah.
Yeah, you're bending your wrist probably, but
Hmm.
yeah, if you take a rest on that and then I would say practice it slowly and just
Hmm.
perfect the technique
Yeah,
and then throw the punch. And then you
yeah.
could start slowly and build up the speed as you're going.
Right. I do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I think the problem was my shoulder started hurting,
Mm,
and that affected how I threw the punches as well.
that
I
makes sense.
wasn't, I was too weak, and so that hurt my wrist as well.
Makes makes sense. That's where the strength training comes in.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be weights. It can be like pull-ups, push-ups, whatever, you
That's
know.
right. Oh, I can't do pull-ups. I did pull-ups one time. I got something called exertion headache. The worst fucking thing I've ever experienced in my life. It was terrible. Have you got one of those?
No, I haven't. What does that feel like?
So I was, I don't know if some people say it's because you're not breathing while you're going up and down. But what happened was I felt like a brain freeze, but at the back of my head. And it lasted for like several minutes, really intense. And then it was kind of like there still lingering in the back of my head until 2 days later. And I had to be really careful not to trigger it by pushing or pulling too hard. I don't Sure, I do wish it upon my worst enemy, but if you're not my worst enemy, then I don't wish it upon you. Now, it's not a good feeling. Yeah,
It was just that bad,
it
huh?
was pretty bad. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. So you've had a Kickstarter campaign.
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo. Sorry, guys. I got to correct myself. I know there's like people, it's pretty split. I noticed. Jeez.
Right,
I'm
it
like,
is. Yeah,
guys, geez. Like, I feel like some people might have a little bias towards it. It's
that's
like,
right. They
I
do.
want, I want some statistical stuff, like,
Yeah.
I'm still deciding because I mean, I like how in Indiegogo you can put pictures and stuff in the campaign and it looks cool. But then
Hmm.
I see statistically that Kickstarter campaigns succeed more, and I'm like,
Hmm.
well, that's kind
Yeah.
of what matters,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. Plus, on Kickstarter, all you have to do is just slide down, and you can see images of the perks. Right, the creators hopefully have put it there. Uh, I don't know. It depends. Like, I have spent so much time working in this community and networking it now,
mhm.
and it's only been a year, but it's been a lot of work, and so I don't want to throw that away by just sacrificing Indiegogo for Kickstarter. But someone else might want to go that route. For example, I think, I mean, after hearing all these pretty good arguments in favor of Kickstarter, I think I might give it a go for the next campaign, perhaps. But I might just do like just the book, just literally just the book, and after the campaign is being completed. on Indiegogo. Some people say to start on Kickstarter, and apparently the two platforms are connected. And then you can, once you're funded, you can carry over to Indiegogo and enter the function of in demand, which is why Indiegogo is superior. One of the ways in which it's superior to Kickstarter, because Kickstarter doesn't have in demand. In demand is your ability to, after the funding period, which is 2 months. It's 2 months on Indiegogo. I don't know about Kickstarter, but after the 2 months period, if you have funded, you will enter in demand, which means people can continue to give you money until, I don't know, years. There've been campaigns that have been in demand for like 2 years, and it shouldn't happen, by the way, but it's a good thing that the platform allows you to stay on there for so long. So I don't see anything wrong now with being on both platforms, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's really cool. I always wondered that when I saw that they were in demand for so long.
Yeah.
That's cool. So as soon as you get funded on Kickstarter, you can like move it over to Indiegogo and they can continue to buy perks on there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works exactly. But again, I wouldn't do that personally because my crowd is Indiegogo mostly.
Mm.
So I would start on Indiegogo and then create, basically copy paste the campaign on Kickstarter. Um, Perhaps while I'm on in demand on Indiegogo, I could copy paste the campaign on Kickstarter. I'm gonna use a guy named RJ. He's gonna do my fulfillment. So I don't even have to worry about getting confused with the two different platforms, because he's really good with logistics. He actually created a software himself, so he understands how it works. I'm not very techy. I can use a laptop, basic functions and stuff, but he probably understands it better than me.
And what do you think you're gonna do on your next campaign? What did you learn from your last one?
So I learned that obviously, but I knew this going in, the goal was way too high. My goal was, and by the way, guys, my campaign didn't fund, I didn't mention that. My goal was $15,000, right? And that is, and some people think, you take the piss, but no, not really. It's very expensive to make a comic. And between all of my team members, that's already about $8,000 already. It's more than that, actually. It's more than that. It's more like $10,000, maybe. I forget. But what I'm doing is I'm cutting the colors, which is, it's unfortunate, but I don't have a choice. I'm cutting the colors. It will be in black and white, and the colors would be a stretch goal. So the stretch goal would be $15,000. If we reach $15,000, right, we put colors in the comic, and hopefully we will, because the goal should be around, and this is not for sure, $8,000. The new goal. And that was possible by removing the colors, so I don't have to pay that's saving me $3,500, by the way. And removing the colors and also using RJ to fulfill the orders, because I live in the United Kingdom. I have an extra handicap, so to speak, in that I have to ship overseas, and so it's twice as expensive. Instead, what we're going to do is this time we're going to print in the United States. We're going to deliver the comics to his house, and he's going to fulfill the orders from his house directly from America to America. And so those are two ways that I thought up of how to lower the goal, and that includes shipping. The shipping would go from $20 to $10 or less. It's a huge difference. And I haven't been able to think of other ways just yet, but anyone is open to suggestions for me. Thank you very much.
Those are those are good ideas, man. I mean, yeah, that should help you a lot. Do you think it was the price point, or do you think it was also a preparation type of thing where you needed to pre-launch more so and get more people beforehand and get people ready beforehand?
No, I don't think that was the problem, because I've seen people, and a little, I'll be completely honest. I've said I'm a very honest guy. There's a little jealousy factor in counting into this as well. I have held a lot of grudges to a lot of people. They don't even know, right? They don't even have idea that for a moment I actually hated them with all of my heart because they just showed up, right, in the community, and they did half the work that I did in terms of pre-launch and gathering up an audience, and somehow in half the time they have twice as many signups, and with a comic that, in my opinion, is less than my comic was, because like my comic was quality. I didn't draw, I didn't color it, so I don't feel like I'm full of shit in saying that. It was somebody else's, kind of merit, my merit a little bit. I picked those people, but my comic was fire. And then I see another comic that is not as good as mine, making, first of all, succeeding and not stopping. It's really annoying stuff. And I've seen a lot of people in my community, mediocre comics make it. And but I suppose, people like what they like, and it's my opinion. If those comics are mediocre, it may not be everybody's opinion. I do believe there are objective facts about the quality of art. I don't think art is all subjective. I think there are objective points, things to judge about a movie, about a piece of a painting, a comic, that you can say this is good, this is bad. To me, it's not all subjective. There are things that should be met, requirements that should be met, and those comics just didn't meet those requirements for me. And so it pissed me off a little bit. It pissed me off. So no, I don't think it's a matter of me, like, not doing enough kind of preparation, because I was in pre-launch stage for 5 months, 5 months, and I was able to gather 200 signups. Now, 200 signups is a good amount, but it's not nearly as good as, it's not nearly what you would need to hit a $15,000 goal.
Mm.
So the fact that I have a YouTube channel now, so I suppose maybe, yeah, maybe you are right a little bit in that regard. The fact that I have a YouTube channel, we can count that as preparation. Does help, because now I'm gathering up sort of subscribers, and that's a great platform for me to communicate to them. And also, they know me. When I launched the campaign, they didn't know me. Now they know me. They know my opinions. They know my face. They know my voice. There's a trust factor to be counted in there as well.
I remember hearing you saying at one point that people didn't back it because it wasn't 100% funded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
So apparently a lot of people don't want to back comics that have not been funded, because, and it comes from a place of affection, of a good place. They want to save their money to back campaigns that have 100% chances of being, well, 99% chances of being fulfilled, right? Campaigns that have hit their goals, right? And the only thing stopping them from being fulfilled are the actual creators, right? Now, whilst I respect that, I gotta say, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If you love something, if you want to support somebody, then just support them. That's really where it's at. Now, I don't back a lot of campaigns, but I do my part in the community by having a YouTube channel and have people on my show, and they can expose their comic to other people. That's how I do my part in the community, right? So I'm quite selective with my money. But I had a lot of people telling me, "Oh my God, I love this so much. I love the concept. It reminds me of this. It reminds me of that." But I haven't backed it yet. They're still waiting. I mean, it's not right. If you're going to, and if you're not going to back it, then just keep your opinions to yourself. I don't want to hear you love this comic, whatever. I just don't care. If you're not going to back my comic and you're just basically telling me this stuff because I don't know why. You're trying to maintain a good relationships. Just keep your opinions to yourself. I don't need to hear them. If you're gonna back it, great. Let me know. I'm more than happy to. If you're not gonna back it because of some reason, hey, let me know as well. You're like, I don't want to back it because of this or that. Fantastic. But if you are not gonna back it, but you're gonna bullshit me that you're gonna back it, and you have 60 days to back this comic, then just keep that to yourself. I don't need to hear it. We can still be friends, and that's all it is. Now, I think that's a big problem. It's a big problem, and that happened with my campaign. I'm sure it happens with other people as well. Uh, so yeah, if you are watching this and you're interested in a comic, but you know if you're really interested in a comic, you're going to back it right away as soon as you have money. And sometimes even when you have little money, you're just going to back it. The people who told me they were going to back it, evidently they didn't like the comic as much as they were telling me they did. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I just don't want to hear that and then see my campaign fail. And I'm not saying it failed because of these individuals. It failed for a whole bunch of reasons that were mentioned, and other reasons that weren't mentioned. But nevertheless, the campaign failed. Who knows if those people had supported me when the time was right, if perhaps that would have created a momentum of some kind, or something like that. So don't do that, guys.
Yeah, it's called crowdfunding for a reason.
Right.
You have to come together to actually make the thing happen.
That's right.
That's why when I saw it, I saw your campaign and I saw the writing, because that's the first thing I look at usually. Then I saw the artwork and I was like, wow, this is amazing artwork. I was like, all right, I'm backing it. Like I want this, right? And the only way it can happen is if you guys back it. If
Yeah.
you wait, it won't happen. That's the
That's right.
problem.
Yeah. And by the way, and you got refunded. Everybody who backed that campaign got refunded by Indiegogo 5 days after the campaign ended, including myself. I backed my own campaign, obviously. Um, and my boyfriend, he had put like 200 in that campaign. At least it was a good, like a blessing in disguise. Oh, hey, I've got 200 pounds back or whatever. But yeah, I even wrote it in the goddamn campaign description. It's no risk, because if the campaign doesn't get funded, you get your money back. That's why you create a fixed goal. There's a fixed goal and there's a flexible goal in Indiegogo. Fixed means that you have to reach a certain amount, say $15,000 by 60 days. If you don't, you lose all the money and everybody gets refunded. A flexible goal is, let's say, $15,000 flexible goal. And at the end of 60 days, whether I've reached 15,000 or not, we enter in demand and I still keep my $15,000, right? But because perhaps I needed, so perhaps we didn't hit $50,000, right? That's what I'm trying to say with a flexible goal. We've only hit, say, 4,000, but I needed 15,000, right? Now that's a scam, right? Because I needed 15,000. I've only got 4,000. I cannot produce the comic, and you're not going to get your money back unless I want to give you a personal refund. That's it, scammed. And so a lot of people were complaining as well that the goal was fixed. And I was trying to explain to them, this is to your advantage. It's to your safeguarding. How don't you understand that? But they see it in that the goal is high, the goal is fixed. Chances are it's not gonna hit the goal, and so they're not ever gonna get that book. Yeah, but at least there's a chance you would, and if we don't, you're gonna get your money back. All of that because you're in a hurry to back other campaigns, but then go back those campaigns.
The zero risk, people. Do it. And
That's right.
that's one of the things that I'm worried about, because I'm going to probably be starting my crowdfunding campaign around late September, which is,
Mhm. Exciting.
it is
Scary
exciting.
as fuck as well.
It's like, I hope this goes well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. Did you have you got all the art ready, or how is it going? What's going on?
No, so I haven't So I have the first 4 pages, right? And it's all written. But as soon as it gets the funding, because here's the issue. If I I can't pay him out of pocket, so if I can't pay my artist, it's gonna burn that bridge, and that's gonna be a problem if we don't reach funding in time.
Right.
So I don't want to burn the bridge with him. So I kind of just have to. I would rather have it done beforehand so it can just be like instant, and then I could be like, all right, off to the printers and all the logistics and all that stuff. But
Well, your artist has given you like a time limit.
what do you mean?
You said you're talking about burning bridges. What do you mean?
Yeah, so like so for example, if I just have him do this for free, like I would have to have him do it for free.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right. No, don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't
no.
do that. That's not
No.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good. That's a good mindset. You're not a scammer.
No.
Congratulations, you're not a scammer. Uh,
Exactly.
oh man, some people are really shit, but not you. You're great. Yeah, people who do that, they're trash.
They are, man. They really are. Yeah, I'm not putting
Yeah.
them through that.
So, yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. And if not, you can always try again. Like me, I knew the campaign wasn't gonna fund after a month. I knew it. The momentum was lost. So I had 30 days to get used to the idea of this campaign of funding, which before launching, the prospect was a nightmare, right? Was like really scary because there's a lot of people who hate me, and I know for a fact that they have been watching me throughout this campaign, and they must have giggled when the campaign ended and I didn't fund. I'm sure they got like a pleasure out of it, and but karma, I believe in karma, so that will take care of those motherfuckers. But you can always try again, and sure, there's a little peer pressure involved, and you want to prove that you can do it, whatever. Comics are, crowdfunding is crowded, and so there's a lot going on. It's totally understandable if somebody doesn't make it, but you can always try again. And anyway, you are far come for God's sake,
That's true. That's true.
So there you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, there's no risk really when you think about it. If they get
Mhm.
refunded, there's no risk. Like, I
There
mean,
is no risk.
what are people gonna like be like, oh, you didn't make it. Oh, you suck. Like, okay. It's like I'll just do it again.
And I'll show you something. I haven't shown this, not even on my channel. But before launching the campaign, I was printing, doing a bunch of stuff to see how they would look and everything. So if the campaign the second time around it succeeds, everybody, and I don't think I'm going to say this on my channel, so it's kind of a surprise for them, but everybody is going to get a surprise sticker of
Ooh,
the columns of creation. So this is Earth, everybody. Do you see it reversed or do you see it normal?
looks normal to me.
Right. So these are like see-through, like stickers or whatever. You see? Let me show you what I mean.
Oh, that's really cool. That's a
Right.
good idea.
Yeah, but they're more expensive than normal stickers, right? And
Hmm.
so I've got a shit ton of them here. A shit, like look at this. Just these, these are
Oh
just
my
fire.
Lord.
This is just fire.
Wow.
This is one character. So I've got this many of one character. So I don't know how many these are. There's like a lot of them. So I'm gonna just there's a little moth here. Go away. Go away. Um
Were
uh,
those expensive to gather up?
these
Yeah, the stickers.
it must have cost me like $50 or
Okay.
something.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Come here. If you're gonna be like that, come here.
Come on,
Say hello.
camera.
Say hello.
Hey, Mothman.
Little moth here.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
chilling.
All right. It's creepy how they kind of move their wings a little bit. How it
Yeah.
moved. They just get off of my hand now. You're disgusting. All right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
moths are kind of gross when you think about it.
they are pretty gross. So yeah, I've got all these characters here, and I'm just gonna include them with your order for free. Here's his
Oh,
light,
oh.
the cool light. Light is my favorite character. If you like, you want some tits, some waist or whatever, you got lightning here.
Yeah.
You got water here.
Nice.
Water is the one with the small breasts but the large waist. Nice booty. Whereas
Best of
yeah,
best of both worlds here.
yeah. So whereas lightning is more of like the large breasts and like regular. Although she seems to have a decent booty as well. So there you have it. And yeah, so yeah, I don't know why I told you about that. And we also had made I had made trading cards as well. That's what they look like. I don't know, you probably
You know what
can't
that
see
reminds me
properly.
of? No, I could see it. That reminds me of like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's cool though. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, that's I loved Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid. So yeah, there you go.
That's awesome, man. All right, man. We've had a good talk here, but there is always one question that I ask before we, end off things. So, what is your secret sauce to success?
My secret sauce to success. Be yourself. That's it. Just be yourself. And if you're going to succeed as yourself, great. If you're going to fail as yourself, great. If you're going to succeed or fail as a con, not so great. So you cannot go wrong by being yourself. Even in failure, you will win because you remained yourself and you did not compromise. So there you go.
Perfect. It's a perfect way to end it. Listen to him. Never compromise.
No. I'll tell you what the perfect way to end it is. The way you open your videos.
Oh boy. Well, listen, I don't open them like that on here, right? This is the NewTake channel.
Right. Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
You guys want to see that? Check out Barkham 4.
That's right. Check
You'll
out
have
Falcon
like
4.
hundreds of them.
That's right. How do you come up with different ways of, different things?
People always ask me that. It just comes to me. I just start it and I just do it. It's weird. It's weird.
Amazing.
The gods send it
Are
down.
you ever afraid of repeating yourself?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, am I repeating myself? I don't know, but I'm just gonna say it anyway.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, thank you for having me, man.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming, dude. Like, I was on his channel. He took me in. He has, he brought me to a group with a lot of people. This man has helped me out a lot. Make sure you guys check out all of his shit that he's doing. I'm going to be putting it in the link in the description, like I say in the intro of the video. So check that shit out.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for coming, man.
My pleasure. And you guys have a good day, eh?
Yeah, I'll see ya.